Hello, I'm Executive Chef Joseph Schulze. Welcome to our kitchen. Today I'd like to share with you a recipe and procedure for preparing a pork collar. Rather than doing it in a traditional braise or roast, we will be preparing this in a clay pot. Yes, the technique on it is going to be a little bit different. I will go over some of the points of using clay pots for cooking, and it is far, far different than using a traditional brazier or pot or even cast iron for that. So join me now as I show you how I prepare this amazing meal. Well, at this time I'd like to say thank you to all the subscribers. I really appreciate your support. And if you are new or visiting again and you enjoy the content, please subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, be up to date with all of our latest posts. Let's get cooking. Well, here is the pork collar. This one is coming from an Ibérico breed of pig from my friends at Campo Grande. And the collar, it comes from the part of the shoulder that runs from the neck to the tip of the loin. And this piece is actually connected to the Boston butt, which is the upper part of the shoulder. And then you have the picnic shoulder, which is the lower part of the shoulder, running all the way down to the hock. This cut of meat is sometimes referred to as a center cut boneless pork butt. So what we're going to do is we're going to season this. Feel free to season any seasonings you like. I am using one of my rubs made with harissa and many other spices. If you're interested in what it is, please feel free to write something below, and I'm happy to send it out or post it. Now we got this all nice and seasoned. Let's go ahead and let it sit for about 10 minutes. Well, to begin, I have a saute pan over medium-high heat. Go ahead and get it hot. And the first thing I want to do is I'm going to saute some of my onion slices and fennel. All we're trying to do is get a little bit of color to it. So now that we have a little bit of color to it, I will put this into my clay pot. Smells incredible. Now I will take my bacon lardons. Let's go ahead and add this. We're just gonna go ahead and render some of the fat from this. Only for about 3 minutes. We're not looking to cook it all the way crispy. We're just trying to extract some fat and get some flavor. Now that we got the nice bacon fat there, let's go ahead and start searing our pork collar. Now for this, I'm gonna turn the heat down to about medium to medium high. When using a clay pot, there are several things that you cannot do. One is you never want to put a cold clay pot into a hot oven. You don't preheat the oven. Two, this type of vessel, you do not sear in it, so you have to do all your searing in another vessel and then put it into this cold. So now that I have my bacon, my meat, and then my other veg, the onion and the fennel, I'll go ahead and add my garlic. The reason I didn't put the garlic into the with the meat and the vegetables simply because the pan was so hot, it just would immediately burn the garlic, and we don't want burning and bitter flavors. So we'll go ahead and add red wine. I prefer dry blended red wine like an Egri Bikavér. Also, the clay pots, they're meant for wet cooking and braising. You do not want to keep this thing dry. If it gets dry, it will crack on you. The water will absorb into the porous material, and as it's cooking, it will release, and that's how it steams your product. So mine is this is the first time using this particular vessel. So I soaked it overnight last night to ensure that it really takes on the water. So now that we have these ingredients in, let's go ahead, take this, and we're gonna put it into the cold oven. Turn the temperature on to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And once it reaches the 400 degrees Fahrenheit, set your timer for 60 minutes. Now that I have the clay pot in the oven, let's go ahead and preheat a saute pan again over medium-high heat. Add a little oil. And now what I want to do is I'm going to char my vegetables that's gonna go in. We'll start with some pearl onions. Just wanna get a little bit of nice brown color to it. Once it hits that color, we will put it off to the side on a sheet pan lined with parchment paper. And we're going to hold it until that 1 hour of baking time is done. We will do a wellness check for the meat to see where it is. And then we will add our vegetables back to the oven and cook it for the remaining 30 minutes or longer if needed. Well, I just pulled it from the oven for our wellness check, as I like to call it. So I'm gonna remove my lid. What I like to do is I'll put it on wood or any type of tea towels or something that's gonna prevent this extremely hot clay touching a cold countertop. So we're taking a look at seeing how the doneness is on it, and it's still a little springy. I know it's still going to be tough, so it's going to have a little more time to go. So now at this point, what I like to do is I'll start putting in my vegetables. Now that we have our vegetables and the meat back in place, we will now put our lid back on and let's put it right back into the oven for another 30 to 45 minutes. Well, now that we've removed our clay pot, let's do our little welfare check on the pork. Immediately you get blasted with the aroma. It smells so good. This is after 30 minutes roasting. The potato is done. Carrot is done. And we're just gonna take a small little slice from the end here. And this is literally pushing through with little to no effort. Just the gravity of the knife itself is pushing it through. And my experience tells me this is ready to go. So what we will do now is put the lid back on it. We will allow this to sit for about 10 to 15 minutes before service. Well, there you have my roasted pork collard done in a clay pot. Couple takeaways with the food. Make sure you season your vegetables and your meat really well. Sear them really well, all on the front side. That way when it gets to the pot, you're going to have better color, so therefore a little more texture, flavor. So it's gonna, at the end of it, it's just gonna yield a much better flavor, more flavorful dish, and a better looking dish. So when it comes to clay pot cooking, couple no-nos. Do not sear with a clay pot. It is not meant for that. It is meant for moist cooking or wet cooking methods, not dry methods like saute or wok cooking. Temperature sensitivity. Do not put this while it's cold into a preheated hot oven. You want to put this, you load this vessel cold, or room temperature, and you put it into the cold oven and then turn it on as shown in the video. Again, to prevent cracking and breaking. Also, whenever this is done and you're done using it, allow it to cool completely to room temperature before moving it to any type of water or dish sink or anything like that. Again, the temperatures, sudden temperature change or extreme temperature change can cause it to crack. Well, that's all I have for you. I'd like you to give it a shot. I'm willing to bet that there's a lot of people out there that have a nice looking clay pot but have never used it for baking or cooking, and it's just more of an artifact. Well, dust it off and put it to good use. Trust me, after tasting this, you're really going to want to take up this cooking a lot more often. Thank you for joining. You had fun.